Jupiter in the 6th house. And 6th house is a favorite of mine because it's quite interesting and complex house. And wherever Jupiter is in the horoscope, this is where people can contribute the most to society in that area of their life, can give the most from themselves and help in that area, and where they have usually most wisdom. And the 6th house is a difficult house. It's the house of the victimized, of the poor, of the downtrodden, the sick, the conflicted, maybe people that are in more dire circumstances and more physically unhealthy, or maybe even unhealthy through their own extreme behaviors, maybe like drug addicted or socially poor. You know, everyone a bit on the margin. So people with Jupiter in the 6th can contribute so much towards the upliftment of those, like maybe people who are in crime, maybe people who are in drugs, people who are sick, who are poor. You know, all those kind of more conflictual areas of life and conflictual people. And people with Jupiter in the 6th house, at some period in their life, they have kind of intuitive wisdom how to deal with such people and with such conflictual and argumentative and unbalanced situations in life. So they can be very good as social workers, as doctors as well, because they can help the sick. They can be very good as lawyers as well, because lawyers try to solve conflicts between people. So Jupiter can give advice to others who have conflict in their life, who have illness in their life. So doctors, loyal social workers, or maybe workers with someone who has addictions in some way, or people who are debt-ridden, yes, because 6th house rules debt as well, and they can be advisors in that respect to such people. But that's when a person is a bit more evolved as well. And 6th house wisdom is like Jupiter. People with 6th house Jupiter can be very tolerant and very permissive and kind actually to such people that others disregard or try to avoid, and they can be quite condescending and kind to these people, trying to teach them, to give them knowledge. Or in arguments, such people can be always going for the weaker, to support the weaker, the victims. I have a friend, my best friend has Jupiter in the 6th house, and she would always go for the weaker people. She would always go for the ones who are, who are conflicted in some way, tries to help them. And Jupiter can be very generous planet, so you can be generous to such people, and this is how you basically give the most to society through this kind of activities. And 6th house also rules physical disease. And whatever planet is in the 6th house tends to be more prone to disease. And Jupiter rules the stomach, the digestive system, the liver. So people with Jupiter in the 6th house might have at certain period in their life more serious issues regarding their stomach and digestive system particularly. And usually it might tend to be through overindulgence, because Jupiter is a very indulgent planet. So such people, it's very advisable for them to learn to detox, to learn to purify their body. And often after such a disease or such problems with the intestine, with the digestive system, people with Jupiter in the 6th house become very expertise and very knowledgeable about how to maintain your health, how to improve your health, how to detoxify, how to balance your lifestyle in a way that to improve your health. Even if it's any kind of different health issues that these people tend to have, they learn a lot from this. The hard way sometimes the easy way, but they tend to learn so much that they can become advisors to others who have issues and health issues, and they can be even preachers. My friend, she had with Jupiter in the 6th house, she had a big problem with her digestion for 3-4 years, and after that she learned alternative healing, because Jupiter is a very open-minded planet, so open-minded about different healing techniques and methods. And my friend did learn about alternative healing methods, and she's so much of a preacher right now about healthy eating, about not overeating, about not eating meat, not eating, detoxing, cleansing and purifying. So such people can be almost a bit of a preacher in that area, or sometimes they can become extreme health, not extreme. Jupiter always does it where he does it in a kind of caring, teacher-like way. Wherever Jupiter is, you can become a teacher in that area. As I said, you can teach and help others who are downtrodden, who are conflicted, who are unbalanced, or you can also help sick people improve, or you can give advice for rebalancing the lifestyle. But usually the person tends to go through quite a few of those disbalanced situations, to attract those disbalanced situations to themselves, because they have the inner knowledge to help those in need. It will be less so if Jupiter is in one of its weakest signs, which is like Capricorn or Gemini or Virgo or Libra or Taurus, where Jupiter is weakest. But Jupiter is weakest in Capricorn. And Jupiter shows where you can gain wealth and abundance and prosperity through. So people with Jupiter in the 6th house can gain wealth and prosperity through medicine, through medical alternative, or any kind of helping poor people, can help through debt, can have very wise investments or manage their debts in a wise way, that or their loans in a wise way, that to bring them prosperity. Or they can be loan loan givers, so they can be also social workers, as I say. They can be doctors, they can be lawyers as well, and they can benefit in worst case scenario from imbalanced situation, or maybe from crime even, but that's very extreme. You have to have really bad Jupiter to go that way. Usually 6th house shows conflict, how you handle conflict. And Jupiter is a very optimistic planet, so people with Jupiter in the 6th house will handle conflict in a very optimistic way, almost in the face of trouble. They will keep their cool, they'll be very positive about the outcome of things, so they can uplift the spirit of others in need, in such conflicted situations as well. And in just like my friend, when she was sick for 3 years, if it was me or someone else, they'll probably give up so quickly, they'll get so desperate. But she kept saying, I know that in this difficulty there is a silver lining. So Jupiter people in the 6th house can see the positive in the troubles, in health problems, in troubles in life, like arguments, like loss of balance, in conflictual situations of any sort, or even any kind of problem solving that they have to do. They would approach it very optimistically and believe that they can deal with it. And usually they can, but sometimes Jupiter hopes to solve such conflicts and problems just through positive attitude, through positive expectations, through optimism, and positive intention. But not always problems can be solved this way. That's why it's sometimes much better to have difficult planets, malefic as we call them, like Saturn and Mars or Rahu or Ketu in the 6th house, which are heavy-handed planets, because in order to deal with, say, with a problematic child or a druggie or someone who has a big disbalance in their life, you have to be tough with them, If your child says, I'm taking drugs, you don't say, oh, optimistically, I'll pray and everything will be okay. I know that there is a silver lining. Sometimes you need to be heavy-handed there and tackle the issues with a bit more, not so savory methods, which Jupiter energy is much more permissive and tolerant. While if there was Saturn or Mars there, people could tackle on problems directly with heavy-handed approaches, which tend to work sometimes more. But these people have good intentions, and they tend to be able to help a lot in such conflictual situations. So they can be great problem solvers, but sometimes not in the most practical way, more problem solvers by helping others, giving them creative ideas about how to solve those problems, or because Jupiter is a very creative planet, or giving optimism of people who are in problematic situations, giving them counsel. But if they want to really tackle on the problem with practical ways, others should find people, with Mars or Saturn in the 6th house who can have much more direct approach to difficult situations. Jupiter also signifies children in one's life, and 6th house is a bit disbalanced house, so the children might be more source of arguments, might be more tension, might bring more tension to the life of the person, and sometimes might be bring a bit more health problems to the person, maybe from worry. Or sometimes even if the person doesn't have children, the idea of children might create some conflict within the person, some philosophical, psychological tormenting inside, and conflict: should I have or should I not have? Will it be okay? So this is something where, connected to children, which can be a bit more difficult. Also, pets. 6th house is signified by pets, so such people can also be charitable to pets, can also be involved in helping anyone who has less power, less equal power. Pets are something that we own, pets are something that is below us. And Jupiter people with Jupiter in the 6th house tend to love pets and be able to do charitable activities with pets as well, and have an abundance of pets, and pets will do them good as well, you know. Helping others, being of service of others, helping those in problems, helping others solve and fix problem and help is always something that's going to make the person more fulfilled, because they have natural ability there, they have natural gifts and talents there which Jupiter gives. And 6th house also indicates doctors, so such people might go to, sometimes they can be even a bit hypochondriac, have a lot of doctors in their life and go to many doctors, but that's in more extreme cases. It can be also profits from medical care, tending to the sick, poor, disbalanced, conflict. Yes, I think we said almost everything. In the female horoscope, Jupiter rules, according to ancient astrology, the first husband at least, or partner who feels like first husband. You've lived with someone. And if it's in the 6th house, maybe this person can be below in social standing from yourself, or can be like from the working classes, have come from the working classes, works very hard, can be extremely strong working ethic as well, such person can have. Or they can be someone, to the best case scenario, that deals with such conflictual situations, like a lawyer themselves, a doctor, someone who solves imbalances, or maybe a nature activist who tries to, you know, to improve the nature, the toxicity of nature. And actually, when you have Jupiter in the 6th house, you yourself will be like that. You yourself might be a nature activist, or trying to balance all situations where there is too much toxicity or lack of balance there. I think we said almost everything here. There is mostly a moral obligation, as I said, like almost a religious feeling and a religious call of those people towards the downtrodden, the victimized, the imbalanced situations, to try and change those things. But sometimes one person on their own cannot change. These are overwhelming social issues which cannot be changed just with goodwill, but the person will nevertheless contribute to these areas. And even in arguments, they're open-minded, they're tolerant, philosophical, inclusive, as I said. I think we've mentioned everything, and optimistic in the face of adversity. So thank you very much. And also, Jupiter is the 11th, 6th house is the 11th from the 8th house, which is hidden things, hidden resources. So such people can benefit through some unnamed sources, through something that they're keeping private, financially, or maybe through detective work, or maybe through some occult methods as well, because 8th house rules hidden things, you know. Yeah, so that's about it. Please write to me if you agree, and what's your experience. Thank you.